Our developing story for most of this weekend, dozens of people who were trapped in northern Mozambique after an attack by insurgents have reportedly been freed. Around 180 people are said to have been caught in a hotel, stuck in a hotel, in fact, in the town of Palma, as violence that began on Wednesday intensified on Friday, leaving at least 7 people dead. News 24 is reporting tonight that evacuations by boat of more than 1,200 people, among them South Africans, began earlier on Sunday. There's been no official confirmation by the South African government of how many citizens were among those trapped in Palma. So while the news of civilians being freed will be widely welcomed, the battle for northern Mozambique has been raging since 2017 and is likely far from over. Let's speak more about this then with the situation. Speak with Liesel Vordren. She is a senior researcher with the Institute for Security Studies, joining us by Skype tonight. Liesel, grateful for your time. Let's begin first with the cause of the fighting in Mozambique, because it is more than one issue that's at the heart of it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this insurgency has been raging, as you said, since 2017. More than 2,000 people have been killed in attacks almost daily, weekly, on small villages that have been burned. People have been gruesome. There have been gruesome beheadings. People have been fleeing to places like Palma and then Pemba, the regional capital of Cabo Delgado. The root causes of this insurgency is a mixture of various issues of frustration, marginalization, people attacking the state because we don't know enough about their aims and what they really want to achieve. What we do know is, in several instances, there have been propaganda from the Islamic State taking responsibility for some of the attacks, saying that the Mozambican state has left people in Cabo Delgado in hunger and poverty, and that basically people are not going to benefit from these massive investments, and that's why this Palma issue has highlighted the fact that there are these foreign workers, thousands of them now working on gas projects that are worth billions, 20 billion, the first phase only of the liquid natural gas projects in Cabo Delgado, exactly a few kilometers from Palma, where this big tragedy happened these last few days.
And that big liquefied gas project that you're speaking to is being run by the French energy firm, that's Total. They've now announced the suspension of operations there. It'll come up in total to about $60 billion. What had recently happened was the resumption of a $20 billion construction that's related to the issue of gas. How highly does the issue of economic sabotage and a battle for economics rank as far as the causes?
Yes, definitely. The issue of the gas projects are definitely one of the issues that make people feel even more marginalized and frustrated, as I say, because of lack of jobs, employment. But people have also been thrown off their land due to mining activities in Cabo Delgado and other issues. Now, the liquid natural gas is in various stages. The one is led by Total of around 20 billion. That's the one that is ongoing, and the infrastructure is being built. And these expats that were in Palma were many of them involved in secondary activities and infrastructure as subcontractors and so on. I wrote quite a bit about it at the end of last year. So Palma was going to be this industrial hub almost, with thousands of people working then on this gas extraction. Then there are 2 other phases. One that was run, the contractor is the ExxonMobil, the US company. Another one, the Italians are also involved. Those have been put on hold already for some time due to the insecurity.
So
Total has been going ahead. Yes.
Just a quick one. Can we say at this stage that, given the time between when Total announced the resumption of their project and the violence on Wednesday, is it safe to say at this point that that may have been the likely trigger for the escalation this week?
No, it's difficult to say, because this was such a well-planned attack. And Total, in fact, in December already withdrew from the area due to the insecurity. And remember, we've had an escalation all through 2020. Then in December, January, there was a bit of a lull because of the rainy season. There were speculation that the insurgents had run out of food, etc., and were planning a bigger attack, which now seems to be the case. So the fact that the exact announcement that Total was now going to come back coincided with the attack on Palma. Of course, I mean, that we can't exclude that that was not a coincidence, but there's definitely a strong link. And what people talk about, the resource curse. Mozambique has been hit. It's almost a perfect case of the resource curse, how Mozambique, one of Africa's poorest nations, got the biggest investment on the continent ever, $60 billion in liquid natural gas, and now conflict and tragedy actually happening for ordinary Mozambicans and then for the investors and South Africans who were hoping to continue working there.
And war, as we know, is an expensive business. I'm wondering how the insurgents have been able to fund their operations, to get weapons and be able to keep this fight going from 2017. We're now in 2021, the fourth year of fighting.
Yes, many of their weapons aren't very sophisticated. Of course, there are links, and we've also tracked them through other networks along the East African coast, and some we believe might have come through Mozambique da Praia, which is the harbour town near Palma, that have been occupied since August last year by these insurgents. So they have been able to get weapons, etc., but not very sophisticated. In fact, a little, as we see, for example, Boko Haram in the Lake Chad Basin and other jihadist groups, they basically raid their army depots, and in that way, their numbers have also grown. So that is the big question. Are they recruiting in other provinces of Mozambique, elsewhere in southern Tanzania, perhaps? People coming from further afield through propaganda and so on. I think that that's also one of the dangers, that the numbers of these insurgents definitely have grown since the first attacks in 2018 and 2019.
A quick final one then calls for South Africa and the broader SADC region to intervene. How should they intervene? Should that be militarily? And secondly, how real is the risk of the insurgency spreading beyond Mozambique's borders to South Africa and other neighbouring nations? I think we've lost Lisa Lowe-Vaudran. She's with the Institute for Security Studies, speaking to us about the situation in Mozambique tonight. Reports we're getting from the likes of News 24 that people are now being evacuated after being trapped in that region in the northern parts of Mozambique since Wednesday.